Hi there. How's everything going with you? Are you still in school, or is everybody in school, or is it officially summer for you? It's getting that point for most of us around here, I guess. So we're almost through the summer, so I can't believe it, but I keep saying that all the time, don't I? Anyway, what I want to talk today about is something that's referred to as a BHAG, BHAG, just kind of like it says. This apparently was something that came from somebody named Jim Collins, and I believe it was the late 1900s, though I'm not positive about that. But he was talking to corporations about getting big, hairy, audacious goals, BHAG, big, hairy, audacious goals. And over the course of the last several years, people have been saying these things should be good enough for people and individuals as well, not just corporations. So when we're talking about corporations, people like Microsoft at one point, their decision or their goal was to have a computer on every desk. They've pretty much gotten that at this moment. Um, I understand that Nike wanted to beat Adidas. Whether they did that or not, I have no idea, but that's the kind of goal that they were doing. Starbucks wanted to become a well known brand. It's gotten that. I think it's fairly safe to say. So these are examples of what people meant by these big, hairy, audacious goals. Now, as far as you, the question here is how does you make a difference between a big, hairy, audacious goal and say something like a New Year's resolution? The goal in this particular case is something that's basically drives you. Let me talk about some of the criteria that you have for this. And I'm not sure how you can see it, but we'll see if we can put this on here so that you can see, and I'll talk to some of it. But you set these with understanding that you understand what you're looking for and that you've got a specific reason for it, because what these goals do is, what are you passionate about? um, what drives your economics? In other words, what are you aiming to do, and what are you best at? So let's just say something to the effect of a goal. A New Year's resolution might be something like you want to lose 50 pounds in 6 months or something. A big, hairy, audacious goal, a BHAG, would be something to the effect of you want to be a millionaire in 10 years, or you want to create a school for children in your neighborhood, or you want to develop a housing project for low cost housing project for people in your neighborhood, or some such thing like this. So we're not necessarily just talking about individual personal goals, though they may be, in the sense I gave you the example of wanting to be a millionaire in 10 years or something like that. But you've got a goal that's driving your decisions because this is what you're aiming for. So that much of what you do is aiming toward that specific decision. If you want to be a millionaire, what are the things you're going to have to do to get to be that point? You just sit there and say, well, gee, I'll win a lottery ticket. That's not the point. You've got to do something to get there. So that's your economics. What are you best at is because you're going to be doing something that you've got to be good at. Because if you're not good at it, how are you going to acquire whatever it is you're going to aim for? Now, if you're aiming to acquire that skill, that might be your BHAG. But the idea is, what are you good at? Now, this is a long-term goal, because you're doing this in the course of about like 10 years. Clear and compelling. So if you want to create a low-cost housing project for your neighborhood, that's clear and compelling because you understand, go into the reasons that you want people to be able to have a house that they can live in, that they're not homeless or some such thing like that. And these reflect your core values. Some of that got erased, but that's basically what it is, that you reflect your core values. In other words, if this is something that you want that's going to be meaningful to you and reflects what's important to you, like low cost housing, perhaps, or maybe you want to create a children's park in your neighborhood. Now, again, I'm giving you many examples of things that are for the neighborhood, but you can do the same thing for yourself. If you want to say, maybe you're renting an apartment and in 10 years you want to have a big fancy house on a big fancy street with maybe 3 bedrooms, 3-car garage, whatever, that can be a personal BHAG. At this particular moment, it would be a big, hairy, audacious goal. If you're looking around and you've got room that, you can stretch your hands and you reach the other side of the wall, or you're living in a 1-bedroom apartment or something, then that becomes your BHAG. But it fits those economic goals. It fits your personal goals because this is something that you want to do. Now, some of the complaints against this is that people develop these, and essentially what they do is they create these and they become essentially more like New Year's resolutions. They're just something that somebody says, I want to be a millionaire, and that's about as far as it goes. You've probably heard a lot of people say, I want to be a millionaire by the time I'm 30, But then when you say, what have you done about it? They say, all I do is buy lottery tickets, and that's not going to get you anywhere. So the idea for these is to essentially something that you can put your teeth into and you can work toward. So if you want to, again, we'll say make a millionaire, become a millionaire, what are you good at? How can you earn the money? And then you break all of these down into different steps. What are the different things that you need to do to get to wherever it is that you say you want to be? Do you want to have that big house? Do you want to have that amount of money coming into your bank account? Okay, so how are you going to do it? You basically create a plan with all the steps that you can follow, and then you make them look into things like how difficult they are, how easy they are, and you essentially create that plan. Many times you'll find that most of these steps are going to be relatively easy when you take a look at them. If you look at the whole thing, like I want that big fancy house, and it's like, well, the mortgage is going to be, let's just say $8,000 a month or something like that. The first thing you're going to say is, I can't afford that. And then you ignore it. But okay, so let's break that down. What do you need to do to get the kind of money that's going to be able to get you that mortgage that you can pay for that? So then you say, okay, well, I'm really good at such and such. And so then how do you break that out with a job? If you need a degree, so then you start working in your school and you get your degree, then that may become your motivation to get your homework done to get the degree. Excuse me. So that you're having to break these down into the steps that are doable that you can see. So if you break them down into enough small steps that you can do on a daily, weekly, monthly basis, whatever it happens to be, you can begin to see that it's a driving force to keep you going to get to that particular point. Does this make sense? Because what you have to have is you've got to have a goal that's important enough that's going to drive you. Because if it doesn't drive you, then there's no point in doing it. But you also have to break it down into big steps so that you can make it impact, say, your economics. What can you do? What are you really good at that you can use to make money to get to be where you want to be? So if you're, I don't know, you're good at making cupcakes, what can you do to perfect your cupcake and then manage to get clients to go buy your cupcakes to build up a cupcake business that it gets you the money that you can get to the point where you can have an $8,000 mortgage payment. So you're not looking toward just, that $8,000 mortgage payment. It's what can you do today based on what you can do really well that you can get the money to get to that point. Does that make sense? I hope so. But again, the word is BHAG. You can check that out if you want to, BHAG. So you can find a few things online that tell you about that. And I'll write a little bit more in the post about this. But think about this and figure out where you want to go. Because if you've got that big goal, if you're in school, it's much more likely to stay. If you're in school, you're more likely to stay attached to doing your homework and getting that done because you've got that long range goal. If you're just saying, well, gee, because I need to do it because it's a good idea, it's probably not going to be as helpful for you. Does this make sense? I hope so. And if you know somebody who could use a big, hairy goal, forward them this link and let them know about it. Let me know what you think about it. And if you've got any comments or arguments, just, hit reply and send me a note and let me know what you think about this. So I hope it was helpful, and we'll chat again next week. Bye.